Hey, Ted Sabransky, Teddy Covers for Wager Talk TV. We're doing division previews one at a time. Today, we're talking AFC North. And of course, all this is in prep for my NFL season win report, which comes out next Tuesday, the 20th of June, noon Pacific time, 3 p.m. on the East Coast. This report has gone 97 and 47 since I first started doing them in 2001. I spent a ton of time working on it over the summer, and I expect to win this year like I expect to win every year with this report. I really do. Again, it's coming out next Tuesday, so be ready if you want to get on board. Those numbers can and do move quickly. This is one report where I do move the markets at least a little bit when it comes to NFL season wins. Let's talk AFC North right now, and I'm going to highlight with all of these. I'm going to talk about one team I'm looking and considering to bet over, one team I'm considering to bet under. Don't know that either of these are going to make the report, but they're on the short list. And when it comes to the Baltimore Ravens, there are a lot of things to like about Baltimore. They've taken a ton of money already. 9.5 juice to the over. This is a team that was 10-7 last year. They kind of collapsed down the stretch, lost in the wild card round. I look at the Ravens, a team ready to rebound. 23rd in injury luck last year. Obviously, Lamar Jackson missed time. They finished 30th in red zone touchdown rate last year. And oh, by the way, we have a new play caller in town, in Todd Monken. Remember the Jameis Winston years when he was good? That was Todd Monken calling plays. There's hope for Baltimore on the opposite side of football. Obviously, Lamar Jackson contract situation been resolved. When you look at what they've done at the receiving core this past offseason, dramatically upgraded. When you look at their offensive line right now, that's a top 5 offensive line in the NFL. So you have a great running team with a really good quarterback who just got paid. The receiving core has been upgraded. They were unlucky last year, couldn't punch in touchdowns. There's hope for Baltimore in that regard. And of course, the secondary has a couple of new pieces as well. They're going to get an added boost from edge defender David Ojabo, who was hurt last year with a torn Achilles. He's someone who can be expected to contribute right away. And look, the AFC is loaded. You have KC, Buffalo, Cincy as the top 3. Baltimore, not far behind any of those. Schedule-wise, the AFC North plays AFC South and NFC West, not the most brutal. Their 3 extra games, tough. Detroit, Miami, and the Chargers. That might be the biggest concern that I have about them, is that their schedule is a little bit tough when it comes to those extra games. They have 1 3-game road trip in October, 1 2-game road trip in December, 3 straight at home in November. They play 4 night games in a 5-week span, Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night in November, December. The league expects them to be relevant. And they only play once in a 23-game span late season because of the way the bye is set up, and they play a Thursday night game. So the final 5 games of the regular season, they'll be the most rested team in the NFL. That's an advantage for Harbaugh and company in Baltimore. When it comes to perhaps a bet against team in this division, I got to look at Pittsburgh, and it's hard to do. The Pittsburgh Steelers lined at 8.5 wins with juice to the over. They finished 9-8 last year, and in the entire Mike Tomlin era, they've never been a sub-500 team. They have to finish sub-500 a year for the under to cash. So I don't know that I'm going to get there with Pittsburgh. That being said, yeah, you have a question mark. You're going through the quarterback of the division. Kenny Pickett, there's upside, but you're going to rank him 4th out of 4. Offensive line, I'm going to rank the Steelers probably 4th out of 4 in this division. Maybe they're comparable with Cincinnati. On the defensive side of the football, there's not a ton to love. You like Cameron Sutton coming in from Detroit as the big free agent signing, maybe Devin Bush, who left for Detroit. They'll miss him, is what I meant. But from a free agent signing standpoint, Patrick Peterson, Cole Holcomb, Keanu Neal, there's hope in that regard. And I certainly like their draft. But from a talent standpoint, this team's tough. They have a week 6 bye that's early, 6 home games early, 3 road. That flips in the second half. They have 2 2-game homestands and a 3-game homestand, the positive, but 3 sets of back-to-back road, including week 17 and week 18. And note what the league is doing. Pittsburgh, a marquee franchise. They play Thursday night twice, 1 Monday night, 1 Sunday night. The Monday night and Sunday night, both early in the season. So if the Steelers stink, they won't be on TV late on the big games as a rough squad. So Pittsburgh, look, hard team to fade in this price range. But if I had to bake one team that I'd bet against in this division, probably looks like the Steelers. Let's talk about the other two teams here real quick. Cleveland is a team I wanted to not like. And then the more I look at them, the more I kind of like them. Lined at 9.5 wins to the under. They were 7-10 last year. Obviously, Deshaun Watson looked nothing like the elite QB that we saw in Houston last year. Certainly had more than his share of off-field issues, more than his share of injury concern issues this year. In theory, he's supposed to be in great shape. Love this offensive line. This is a top 5 offensive line in the league. We should give Watson time to throw. They should be able to run the football. They made a bunch of moves on the defensive side of the ball. They added Dalvin Tomlinson. They traded to Minnesota for Darius Smith, who's going to help their pass rush. And they didn't lose a whole lot in the offseason. They really didn't. They look like a better team now than they did on paper at the end of last year, like what they did in the draft, even though they didn't have anything till the 3rd round. Schedule-wise, not great for Cleveland. AFC South, NFC West opponents for this division. Their 3 extra games, the Broncos, the Jets, the Bears. I can't tell you I love any of those teams. They do have an early Week 5 bye, which isn't great down the stretch. The league's kind of burying them a little bit. They might play Monday Night Football Week 2, and then you don't see them on TV again until Thursday Night Football on Week 17. They do have 4 of their first 5 at home. They could get off to a hot start. 3 division games the first 4 weeks. Cleveland plays well early. They're in position to have a successful season. We look at Cincinnati, and there's certainly some arrows pointing down for the Bengals, a team that was on the lucky side of a lot of things last year, although they were really good as well. Finished 12-4. Again, they had that one game that was canceled, the Monday Night Football game where the Bills player was carted off the field. They're lined at 11.5 wins this year, under a little bit of juice to the under. They bring back almost everyone on offense. It was 5th in offense officially a year ago. When you talk about the receiving core, the Bengals are elite. We talk about the quarterback play, the Bengals are elite. We talk about offensive line, they're not necessarily elite. You're switching Jonah Williams over from left tackle to right tackle. You're bringing Orlando Brown. That's a good, really a good move. But the interior of this offensive line isn't good. I don't know if Williams is going to be any good on the right-hand side. They've got some questions on the OL. And the defense, much like the offense, they're running back basically the same guys and a bunch of guys in their prime. But when you look at the schedule for Cincy, there's some issues. AFC South, NFC West opponents are 3 extras. Buffalo, Kansas City, and then Minnesota. 2 of those 3 teams likely to be elite. Bengals will be very good this year. They have a Week 7 bye. They have 3 2-game homestands. They have a couple of 2-game road trips. The first one's really easy, Tennessee and Arizona, then Pittsburgh, KC later. 4 TV games, and then they have Pitt Week 16 and Kansas City Week 17. They could be flexed into more. I think the Bengals will be good. I think they might be very good, but I think they're aligned as being very good. I doubt I get to Cincinnati with my season win total. There's your AFC North breakdown. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more great content right here on Wager Talk TV.